Right, we've got 3 teams left. It's Excel, Mad, and Misfits. And spoiler, the reason I left them till now is because they're not the most edgy hot takes. They're just right in the middle of the table. These are basically people that we all have as like playoff teams, / borderline playoffs, / they're not going to win the league, are they? They're just in that position where they're going to make playoffs but not win. So, like, which of the 3 do you think's most interesting to start with? Which one do you want to, who's the spiciest one for you, Dom?
Mad Lions, for sure.
Okay, let's do it then. So obviously, if people don't know, they did make a roster move. They brought in Nisqy, replacing Rika, who was the rookie, and that's it. They've just done that move. That's enough for you? That makes them... I mean, you had them as... you had just your 4th best team, so that's an upgrade to you. It's going to make them a actually potential Worlds contender.
Yep. I think that's all they need. Like, I think that Nisqy was essentially humanoid light for most of last year. I mean, you got to remember, humanoid was in God mode. I had Nisqy in the second... I had Nisqy as the 2nd best mid laner overall. I mean, I think if Caps like is playing on for him and, you know, in certain metas, I think Larson can be better. I just think Nisqy knows how to fucking operate within a team, and I think he's exactly what they need in that team. They need a mid laner that knows what he's fucking doing. They don't want to be teaching a mid laner how to fucking play. They need them to have their own idea, and they just need that like little bit of push towards like the plays that they're making, and somebody to maybe even call off some of the bad plays that Kaiser and Elyoya were making. I mean, I still think Elyoya is super fucking good. I think he's one of the best junglers in Europe when he's on form. And, you know, I think this takes a little bit of the pressure off him so that he can actually focus more on himself, and he doesn't have to like be this like mega leader, because I think that was almost overhyped when there was humanoid within the team. It wasn't that Elyoya had to shot call the whole game alone. Like, he had direction and other points, and especially in mid to late game, that's normally where junglers like knowledge and understanding of the game will fall off just because of the nature of the role, not being able to accurately judge how strong people are, not having complete information of how side lanes should work and when they can collapse and how many waves they need to push and where vision needs to be set up. That's generally the deficiency that junglers have. I see Nisqy coming in and, you know, being able to correct a lot of that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I think that they're going to be good. Like, I don't think that they're just going to be middle of the pack, like 6th, 7th. I think that they'll be 4th. I think that they'll be competing to potentially go to Worlds. So I think that he's literally exactly what they need. And also, I've just always thought that Nisqy was a really fucking good player. I mean, I just think he's perpetually underrated. Every single team he comes into, people think he's going to do worse than he did. Like, just look at his career.
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
When he went to Splice from Envy, people were like,
everyone was flaming the fuck out of him, yeah.
Then when he went to Cloud9, people were like, this guy, we got rid of Jensen to get this guy. It's fucked. It's fucked. Yep. I hate this team. Then he went to Fnatic. That was the worst one.
Yeah, that was supposed to fail completely, yeah.
People were like, well, how are you going to fucking win if you're Fnatic? How are you going to beat G2 with Caps when you just got fucking Nisqy? Like, how is he going to fucking work? And then he just ends up like beating Caps in a best of 5, goes to Worlds instead of Caps. Like, people just are, whatever. Caps is still better. He just had a bad split, you know?
Yeah.
This guy is perpetually underrated. What does this guy need to fucking do? Like, during his time, what do you want from a player that is in contract prison and has to take a fucking split off? What do you want from him? He literally got rank 1 in solo queue. Like, isn't that what the player is supposed to do? It's like, shit, I'm not able to fucking play right now because I'm legitimately just in contract prison. I'm going to play solo queue. I'm not going to fuck around and play solo queue and stream in fucking master games or some shit. No. He got rank 1 EUS. He's like, I'm going to show that I'm still mechanically one of the best players in this region. He's gonna fucking. I believe in him. I always believe in Nisqy. Like, I just think that he's just proven himself to be good every single opportunity he's had. Every single team he's on, he's outperformed expectations. I expect it again. So when I think about that, and then I compare, like, I think about Elyoya and Kaiser and how good they can be. I think Unforgiven had a good rookie split. I don't think Reeker was bad, but I mean, he's just not Nisqy. Like, Nisqy is a top mid. He's a top European mid. So that's what I'm expecting. Top 3, top 4 mid laner.
I definitely, like, you definitely have a little bit more of a favorite. You definitely like Nisqy a bit more than I do, but I'll say as well, sure. I definitely agree. He was underrated in his career, especially when he did the roster moves. Like, essentially, here's the contrast I would give, which is going to trigger people just because of who the player is now. But think historically, I think he's like the EU Paul Belter dude. Because every fucking team Paul Belter ever played on, people just kept going like, well, he's not good enough. He always was domestically, every fucking time. How many times? By the way, that guy's taken something like 3 different orgs to the LCS finals. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, yes, he's not going to. The problem these players have is this: they don't have the crazy eye test. They're not going to like leap off the page. Like, wow, who's that guy? Like, it's not like Koreans are looking up Nisqy and Paul Belter VODs. Like, oh, what is this guy doing? Like, they don't know these guys exist. But domestically, these guys are always money. So yeah, I think this will definitely be a level up. Like, I was actually way more critical of Rika than it seems like other people were. Spoiler: if you're going to be people who are like, give him a chance, he's actually good. Well, then you have to actually fucking stay with him, don't you? You can't just kick him out the team. You obviously didn't believe in forgiving him. I don't care what you say. I care what you do. You fucking fakes.
Yeah, sure.
So if they do this move, by the way, here's the thing, though, Dom. They are absolutely, by making this move, they're actually putting all of their other moves in question. Because here's the problem. I actually had them similar to you. I actually have them as my 5th team, but spoiler, XL's my 4th team. So that's fucking like you pick 1A, 1B on that one. Like, I'm not saying one's better than the other. But my problem is this. A lot of what we're all basing this off, I'm basing off it as well, is we're all making a massive assumption in terms of fucking Elyoya and Kaiser, which is we're going to grant you, because of how good you were that 1 year, that it was about not having a humanoid. But if you guys still have any of those same flaws with Nisqy, who's definitely going to be better than Rika, you have to pay the fucking price for this next split. This one has to be on you guys. Because I actually think, by the way, I think in the end, I already thought, by the way, spoiler, Mad Lions already could have made playoffs last split. I even thought Unforgiven had a monster first half of the split, looked really good. So the main person, though, I think actually who's under fire right now, Dom,
Ahmed.
the name I haven't mentioned exactly, because I'll tell you what's going to happen. If they don't do well this split, like say they don't make Worlds, they're not that relevant, dude, he's the guy who has to go. Like, it's not funny. He's reached wonder status. It's not funny that you only play meme champions. You have to actually be good at the game. And in this team right now, like, Nisqy himself isn't caps. Like, Unforgiven's pretty good. Mate, you're going to have to do some heavy lifting. You're going to have to win some games. You can't just chill anymore on the old one with the fucking humanoid and laugh as you win the game. You're going to have to actually be a good player to make it now. And I'm kind of a bit out on him, mate. I think he's had his time, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Ahmed is a confusing player, but the one quality that keeps me in his corner is the fact that he's always better when it matters the most.
Okay, that's a good quality. Career, yeah.
Like when he played in finals in spring, when he played in playoffs in summer, when he played at Worlds, like in those biggest games, like when he's playing the decider versus LNG, he's getting fucking ganked. He's getting inted. Elyoya's having a terrible game in that game versus LNG. He's running it down in his lane. Like the jungler just comes top, ints his lane, fucking kills, and he's just still winning the lane versus Ale. Versus a fucking Kennen, bro. Like while getting counterpicked. It seems like he's a big game player. He just didn't get to play in fucking big games because they didn't even make playoffs. Okay. I think he's not going to look great. I think you need to get him into playoffs. But, once everyone's nervous, once, everything's on the line, I think that he generally shows up better than expected. Which I vibe with that a lot. It's similar to what I said about Flocked. Like, because Flocked's biggest thing was always his laning, right? People were like, this guy is fucking shit in lane. And it wasn't that he was magically, like, insane in lane in playoffs. I mean, they did win some games, but I put that more on, like, them having good, like, bot lane combos, them understanding Zyrathenia and stuff before.
They definitely played to the bot lane as well. Yankles were there all the time, yeah.
Yeah, but even, like, 2v2, I felt like they just understood the meta better than some bot lanes. But Flocked was a little bit better than everyone expected in lane, to like maybe even a lot better than people expected in lane, depending on how low you were. I feel that same thing about Ahmed, where like he'll step up when the time comes. Like I believe in him to step up. You just got to get him there. So I think that Nisqy just covers a lot of their bases, and as soon as they get into playoffs, I'm expecting Ahmed to actually show up. And then also look, it's your fucking meta. Aatrox is back in the meta. Wukong just got buffed. I know a lot of people aren't going to play top because it's so broken jungle, but you can flex it now. And I think it's one thing that I want to see Mad Lions doing in this coming week. Flex the Wukong. Why not? Other teams you're gonna pick it. Other teams are gonna pick Viego. Slam a counter to Viego. Go Wukong Kindred or some shit with like an AP mid laner and just really try to like use the draft to your advantage. Gnar is back. People are playing Gnar again. Like you have his champion pool being relevant right now. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not going to say that they're going to make Worlds, but I think that they'll be on the cusp. I think that there's a chance they make it depending on how hard Rogue chokes, but I would say that they probably do well, but just not well enough to make Worlds. But I mean, how banger would it be if they made Worlds over somebody like G2? Like that would just completely, like people's minds would fucking explode. I don't think it's that crazy for that situation to occur. Like I don't think Mad Lions is close to as bad as people think.
No,
horrible split.
Dude, the sad thing to me, this is why I put so much of it on Rika. You notice I never said it. That's Rika's like the shittest mid laner. He's just inting every game. The problem was it was who he was replacing. Those were just two enormous shoes. Because I actually think the saddest part about that split, because they didn't make playoffs, is Unforgiven never got his fucking props, mate. That guy was way better than people would have thought. Like as a rookie, he was a pretty legit player. He had a bunch of massive carry games. His champion pool was really nice early on. Like he actually looked very good, I thought, man. I thought he was like, the joke is, as much as people now because of Rika move will maybe question the Mad Lions stuff, I think the pickup of Unforgiven was a good one. They did some good scouting there.
Yeah,
it's a quality side.
Yeah, I think he's solid, and I think that it was more of the angle that they wanted from Carzzy, right? Like, they didn't want the super volatile AD carry anymore.
Yes.
They wanted the one that was like more disciplined, that you could put resources into, and you could generally rely on them using those resources well. So I think he's a good fit.
They scout well, because as you say, as they've done with Armor, then fucking hell, they scout for what they need apparently in this team. Actually, I actually respect the approach. You know?
Yeah, I mean, look, they did fucking poorly last split, undeniably. But I mean, I think that they also, like, it's not like they just showed that the last fucking 8 fucking pickups, or I mean, I guess it was like 4 or 5 pickups, were all shit. Like, they have generally good scouting. If you hit five hits and 1 miss out of 6 players that you're scouting from fucking ERLs,
that's epic.
Damn.
Yeah, that's epic.
That's an insane rate of.
I can totally admit this. If you asked me, sure, I'm not in the same position they are with the same access they do, but if you asked me, just pick randomly 5 or 6 people from the RLs who should be really good. Dude, I don't think I would get 5 out of 6. It's really hard. I think it's really hard to judge how good. Like, the amount of players I've seen, I say this all the time about junglers, the amount of players I see who smurf in the RLs, then they come into the fucking LEC and you're like, why is this guy even in the LEC? He's garbage. Yeah, it's mental.
I think it's even deeper than that, because it's not like they're just like getting to pick from like the pick of the litter, the absolute top of the RLs, like the players that they didn't get to just be like, oh, Targamas looks fucking good. Like, it's just saying Targamas. Like, no, those are the players that are going to G2 and teams like that. Yeah. So they had to pick from like the middle of the pack. It's like, oh, this is like a Prime League team. Do they even win? Like, I don't even know if fucking Shadow and Kaiser's teams like even were winning domestically. Like, those teams might not even been the top team, and then they're picking from like not even a top ERL, like a mid ERL, and then not even a top team in that mid ERL, like a high tier team in that mid ERL. So I think that their scouting is actually really insane, and I don't even think that they proved anything by, like, people were like, oh, well, it just shows that they didn't think Reeker was going to be good because they gave up on him. I don't think that's the case either necessarily. Like, I mean, they just had the opportunity to get fucking Nisqy. Like, it's not like they went for like a player. It's not like they fucking replaced them with Nuke Duck or something. They didn't go for like a mid. They went for a player that was top 2 mid laner in LEC last year, and the only person that was better than him was the guy that literally was on their team. That's a fucking insane player, and he's somebody who fits their style really well. When you looked at them win all those games towards the end where they were like running TF every game, well, now they just got the best TF player in Europe. So I don't know. When I'm looking at this, I think that the team is actually set up for success. I think they'll surprise people.
What's great is, I'm sure, like, if this was a few months ago, Humanoid would be like, excuse me, the best TF player, fuck you. Actually do it in the playoffs, you cocksucker. We all saw that. You know, it was all captured in 4K HD. We can go watch the VODs now. It's like watching the fucking Kennedy assassination. You can't. What were you doing on that, champion? That was so outrageous. Anyway, want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.